come out of Africa. There was a film, I think it was a Nigerian film done concerning the Civil War, the Nigerian Civil War. We don't have such level of films
anymore.
We hardly see such things that go deep to sensitize the world about who really Nigerians are.
Yes, you're very right to say that. I also want you to understand that film has been going on even before Nollywood, sprang up. But if you check the value, the level of those films, you could really rate them internationally. Okay, because these films had quality sponsorship. That some Western people can put money down and then even stood behind the camera. So they dealt with professionals. Okay, the stories are well scripted and all that.
Like they're half of a yellow sun.
Yeah, well, I have my reservations about that as well. But it all centers around budget. If we lay our hands on good budget, and then you can hire good hands behind the camera. You can hire good hands in the system, the post. It will generally reflect in the outcome of the film. So these are the things we don't have these days. We live in a world where people are interested in what we're doing, but nobody really wants to put his money in it.
It seems Nollywood has been, just like the country, Nigeria, is very resilient. There's so many challenges you face. Productions from Nollywood account for a phenomenal impact on programming and Zambian TV stations. You could as well say Nollywood is right. But speaking of returns, like you mentioned, budgetary constraints and that, according to the World Bank, for every DVD that gets sold, 9 copies get pirated. That must really be a huge loss for the filmmakers like yourself.
Yeah.
Any improvements since? Because we've heard government programs.
There's no improvement, I must tell you. There's no improvement yet. That is where we need the government desperately.
So how do you survive?
That's a good question. It's the energy, it's the desire, it's the passion that puts us on the track. You produce a video, you spend about 5 million naira, hard-earned naira, your own personal sweat to produce a movie, and before you know it, it's on the street.
No,
and there's no legal system to check this.
My concern, as it is with this program, is how whatever thing we're looking at projects Nigeria to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Now, he talked about piracy. This is one, if you talk to people abroad, area where they think that Nigerians are experts when it comes to pirating books, pirating films, and all of that. Are you reaching out to your colleagues abroad in South Africa, other places, to say, look, it's not peculiar to us?
Nigerians, how many cities are we pirating? Go to China and find out what piracy is all about.
They tell you that it's Nigerians.
Excuse me.
Go there.
Well, that's what they told you. How many? The average guy in Alaba probably duplicates. Hold on.
They'll say Nigerians go there and tell them, give us low quality phones.
Hold on, Mr. Vic. The guy in Alaba has like 5 computers. He puts his slots in, that the ones that can record like 5 at a go. How many can he produce in a day? Then you go to somewhere like China where they have a whole industry that can produce like millions in question of seconds, and it goes all and it has outlets that can reach the whole world. And at the end of the day, they say Nigerians are masters of piracy. You really need to understand this thing. You must understand that Nigeria is not being admired internationally. So sometimes they're even blamed for what they are not responsible for. A crime happens here, a Nigerian walks by, he's the one arrested. He's innocent. Now the other guy who actually perpetrated the crime walks freely because of the color of his skin or probably his nationality. So Nigerians will always suffer this. So I think it's about time that we keep pushing to present a positive image like this piracy. Nigerians are not just the only people responsible for piracy. Granted, we are victims of piracy and we have suffered dearly, for it. But Nigerians are not the only force behind it. Yes. So we want government to come in. That's where government. There's no way I can stop my filmmaking and go to a lab and start saying, please don't pirate. I can't do that because I'm a creative person who's supposed to be in the studio on set, doing my thing.
The law enforcement should do their job.
That's their job.
Everyone should do their job.
I'm quite intrigued by the fact that you talked about governments coming in.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to ask you this. As a filmmaker, a politician's campaigning, and thank God we're in the period of campaigns now. Politicians campaigning. I'm looking at professionalism now. A politician's campaigning and calls Stanley, please come. I give you so and so and so much. I want you to come on the podium and dance and sing and sing my praise and all of that. Would you do that? Because I don't see that with the Americans. I don't see that with all the other. But I see our.
Oh, come on, I've seen Jay-Z perform for Obama. What are you talking about?
Yes. That's
You understand? I mean, when it happens in Nigeria, it becomes a big deal.
Let me give you an example. I think it was in Ondo State, the last election in Ondo State. You had actors and actresses actually come to say that party, don't vote for them. They are criminals. They are this, and vote for this person. I mean,
they're performing their civil right. If I have confidence in a particular candidate,
and you believe,
and I believe him, and I want to support him, there's nothing that keeps me from supporting him with my gifts, with what I do. Okay, if you run a newspaper company and one of these politicians come around and tells you, please, I want you to put me on the cover page and pays. Won't you do that?
But what Victor means is it's sort of peddling their publicity.
It's belittling.
Yes, I understand. I understand where you're coming from.
Because the thespian arts is a noble.
Yes,
noble.
I understand where you're coming from. But I also want you to see that these artists are performing their civic duties of supporting their candidates. I don't know if they're paid or if they're not paid. Okay, but you have to have someone that you are presenting. And you have to do anything possible to make sure that people, buy the person. Okay? And I don't see anything wrong with that anyway.
Okay. Talking about government support, you mentioned we're still on the subject of government.